Maboy Manila, this is Pope from ManilaShaker.com. Tecno is one of the brands that provided us with budget-friendly smartphones that offers decent features in the past few months. And today we have their first flagship-level smartphone, the Tecno Phantom X. Today, we are going to test its gaming performance and also its battery life. Will it also show us a flagship-level experience? Let's find out. First, before we start, let's run through some of its best features. First is the design. Phantom X offers a Corning Gorilla Glass 5 back that has a premium look and design. It also has a curved 6.7-inch Full HD Plus Super AMOLED display paired with a 90Hz refresh rate. And since it is already an AMOLED display, it also has an under-the-display fingerprint sensor. And by the looks of its design and display, it already shows us a premium smartphone. Now, Tecno Phantom X is also equipped with 5 cameras. A 50-megapixel triple camera on the back, which is paired with a 13-megapixel telephoto and an 8-megapixel ultra-wide. While on the front, it has a pill-shaped punch hole cutout that houses a 48-megapixel selfie alongside an 8-megapixel ultra-wide. Aside from those, it is powered by MediaTek Helio G95 with a 12nm process. It runs on Android 11 slapped with iOS 7.6 on top, and the configuration of our review unit is 8GB of RAM paired with 256GB of storage. All of this is backed with a 4700 mAh of battery paired with a 33 watts fast charging. At the end of our gaming review, we will also see the performance of its battery, so stay tuned. Now we will begin our gaming review with a fully charged device. To start it off, we will begin testing on MOBA games, and our first game is Mobile Legends. By default, HDR and HFR mode are turned on, but the quality of our graphics is set to high. But we will set it to Ultra to test its maximum performance. Even in the character select, the animations are already smooth, plus the clear AMOLED display shows impressive quality. The gameplay was smooth, with no interruptions or frame drops during clashes. Color quality is sharp and detailed as well. So for performance, we have HDR and HFR mode turned on, plus Ultra Graphics quality, we get 60 FPS with 100% stability. Our next game is Wild Rift. This is more demanding compared to Mobile Legends, but we will see the difference. As usual, by default, its settings are set to quality with a max of 30 FPS. So let's head to custom and bump it all up to max available settings. Again, even though we have a 90Hz display, 90 FPS is still grayed out in our settings. Upon entering the Rift, even with the maxed out settings, there are no performance drops. No frame drops or stuttering during clashes, and even with heavy animations that are displayed. You can create some decisive moves without having an interruption. So with everything maxed out, we get 60 FPS with 100% stability as well. Our third game is Pokemon Unite. This is our first time adding this game to our gaming review, and as for the recommended settings, everything is maxed out already with high frame rates capped at 60 FPS. As for the gaming experience, it is smooth but not that smooth. Somehow I can tell that it is kinda having a hard time running the game. But all in all, there are no frame drops or stuttering even in clashes, although heat is starting to build up upon the device. So with the max out settings, we get 58 to 60 FPS with 98% stability. Now let's move forward to FPS games and start it off with Call of Duty Mobile. By default, settings is set to high graphics quality and high frame rates. Max frame rates and very high graphics quality is available, but you can only pair max FPS with high graphics, so let's test that out. Let's try some free-for-all action. As for multiplayer mode, there are no visible frame drops or stuttering even at gunfights or aiming down your sights. So it is pretty much good in our experience. As for its Battle Royale mode, it is also smooth with no frame drops or stuttering even upon landing. Everything is smooth during gunfights and aiming down your sights as well. So for the settings of high graphics quality and max frame rates, we get 60 FPS with 100% stability, while on Battle Royale mode, we get 55 to 58 FPS with 99% stability. Our next game is PUBG Mobile. As for its settings, by default it is set to HD graphics and high frame rates. HDR is still locked and ultra frame rates are available via balance and smooth graphics quality. So let's try it with balance plus ultra. Even upon landing, there are no visible frame drops, no stuttering as well while aiming down your sights and shooting. So with the balance plus ultra frame rates, we get 40 FPS with 98% stability. Now on to MiHoYo's graphically demanding games. First is Honkai Impact 3. By default, settings are already maxed out with 60 FPS in combat and out of combat. As for the gaming experience, everything turns out great. No frame drops or stuttering even with multiple animations are seen in the display. Casting two special skills at once doesn't give us a drop in performance, which is good. So with the maxed out settings, we get 57 to 60 FPS with 99% stability. And our last game for today is Genshin Impact. By default, settings are set to medium graphics quality, but we will bump up the FPS to 60. With the default settings plus 60 FPS, we get good frames but not that quite stable, although it is bearable. Graphics quality is good as well since it is set to medium quality, plus if you set it to low or lowest with 60 FPS, you can maximize its smoothness. So with the default settings plus 60 FPS, we get 40 to 45 FPS with 96% stability. While on the low plus 60 FPS, we get 50 to 55 FPS with 98% stability. For the overall gaming performance, so far, all games didn't disappoint us since they performed pretty well. But for us, the only problem that we encounter as for Genshin is that the longer you play, the hotter the device it gets. So, if you happen to have this device, give it some rest after a few hours of gaming. As for its battery performance, after 3 hours of gaming, our battery dropped from 100% to 61%. The battery is quite small and its battery life is not that good, but it is understandable since it uses a 12nm chipset and a 90Hz display. As for charging the 4700 mAh of battery with a 33 watts fast charging, it took us 55 minutes to fully juice up the Tecno Phantom X. As for its price, there is still no official price of the Tecno Phantom X, but overall the performance that it offers us is pretty much impressive. But not just those, also the design and build, plus the features that are included in the phone. It is a proof that Tecno can compete even in the higher priced smartphones. But we think that the only takeaway here is the chipset since they still opted for the G95 instead of a new one and the lack of 5G connectivity. Despite that, the G95 still packs a punch in 2021, and who knows, we might see a Phantom X 5G in the future. So that is our gaming review of the Tecno Phantom X. What are your thoughts about Tecno's first flagship phone? Let us know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you will be updated with our future contents. Also, don't forget to visit manilashaker.com for more tech news, reviews, and comparison of the latest device. Once again, this is Pope, and mabuhay Manila!